Okay, the stream is live, everyone. Live stream is on, everyone.
Live stream is on, your live stream.
That's why I'm making it over.
Hey, how are you?
No.
We have this positional strategy ready to sit in the room or the table.
I go to Rick's reaction.
Well, that was my.
We have a reason for it. I was born this way.
Oh, okay. That was just one stupid Huh?
I've done everything to protect my hair.
Might not be.
Should we need another?
No, don't touch it.
Are we sitting anywhere? Or we just sit? Where are you gonna sit? Well, they can't. There's not enough somebody else sitting there.
Let's go.
It's hard to stay in a chicken's like.
Yeah.
He's free.
Okay, time for the mic check. We're starting with the podium mic. 1, 2, 3, podium mic.
No, it's all right. And I can even these are easy.
Mic number 1, check. Mic number 1, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Super mic 3, super mic. That one's hot. Super mic. President mic number 4. President mic number 4. Mic number 5. Check, 1, 2.
No, come on, no.
Retry on 5. 1, 2, 3. Mic number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mic 6.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
We're doing mic 1, check, 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 1, 2.
That's up for me. So that's like a known date? So maybe they started fighting out for shit.
It's a morning show.
Probably.
There's more seats up front if you'd like to sit. She's not on yet. She's not in the meet yet.
The same place? Yeah, it was originally supposed to be April 5th. Yeah, it's been summoned earlier. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can't see from here. Never mind. Going back to my team.
Next week there's, once you hear everything.
Yes, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Alrighty, good evening, everyone. Call this meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Hello, everybody. Just have some sad news to share with our community. One of our bus attendants has passed away, Nancy Hollinger. She's been with us for 34 years. And she's one of our amazing school bus attendants. We were very surprised when she passed away. Nancy worked obviously in our transportation department for a long time, served as an attendant, and many of our children with special needs adored her. And her personality, her disposition was perfect for the special education runs that she helped us with. Our drivers always looked forward to working with her, just reflecting on her experiences and her lovely, reserved nature. She was truly an asset. So if possible, if you could join me in a moment of silent meditation and prayer, I'd really appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Besides working in transportation, she helped us as a lunch monitor, and we're just very saddened by this loss. So I thank the community for taking that time with me today, and thank you very much, Dave. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, with us tonight we have Dr. Ashley Dreyer, trustee, Beth Krevlin, trustee, Jude Kuhn, district clerk, Dr. Brian Graham, superintendent, Joy Lamarca, trustee, Danielle Bruno, trustee, John Fitzpatrick, assistant superintendent of curriculum, staff development, and human resources, Cheryl Cardone, assistant superintendent of people personnel services, Dr. Doug Whalen, interim superintendent for school business and finance, and Sienna Selkes, one of our BOE student representatives. Oh, and we, yes, that's right. Sorry, Sue. We have Sue Marston attending virtually. Excuse tonight are Roger Broker, a trustee, and Charlotte Tower, another student representative. Okay. So with that, if I could get an approval of the agenda for tonight? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried by 6-0. Also, the approval of the minutes from February 2nd. Second? All in favor? Opposed? And motion carried 6-0. All right. Okay, so on to our student ambassadors. Do we have someone here from the middle school?
Hi everyone, I am privileged to introduce you to Grace Chicato this evening. She's a 6th grader at BCMS, and she is our publicity supervisor for student council. She's also in the band and chorus, and she plays soccer and participates in flag football through community ed, and she's hoping to make the team next year as a 7th grader, so that's really exciting. And she is a dancer.
Hello, my name is Grace Chukak, and I am the publicity supervisor on the Middle School Student Council Exec Board. At BCMS, we did a Spirit Week leading up to our after-school March Minute to Win It contest. The Spirit Week included many fun days, like a great outfit day on Monday, Rhyme Without a Reason day on Tuesday, Just Like Your Alarm Didn't Go Off on Wednesday. Thursday was Flashback to K-Day, and Friday being 90s Day. For Minute to Win It, we had an inflatable and basketball station in the gym, and in the lunchroom there were games and food. For the games, we could complete every single one and turn the paper in for a chance to win a $10 gift card. 3 winners were chosen at random from those who turned in a bigger card. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for your time and listening to me tonight.
Thank you, Louise. And for our high school, I think you're up, Sienna?
So this past week, we had 14 students from the high school go to Rochester for DECA States. Everyone worked so hard leading up to this, and it was really nice to see it all come together. Even though no one advanced to nationals, we all learned so much, and it was nice just being together for the week. We were also with 3,000 other students from across the state, so just getting to meet other people from different chapters was really rewarding. Additionally, Marissa, Seti, Kabir Sandhu, Joseph Donlin, Max Sense, and myself were all named to the DECA Honor Society, and Mrs. Chamberlain was honored for 25 years of service with the organization. And I just want to thank Mrs. Chamberlain because nothing would be possible without her, and she just does so much in our school. And for DECA, she was running around that whole week, running the judges table, making sure everything was going according to plan, and she's just a superhero. She's amazing.
That is so well said. Was there anybody else at this table that was adjudicating in Rochester that you might want to mention?
Mama Kuhn was also there adjudicating. She did a great job, and I know we had other, Miss Veronica was there adjudicating, and I believe we had other Grand Island alumni there as well. So that's just nice. Even after you graduate, you can see how it all comes together, and you can still help out. A group of us from DECA and AOF will be going to the Sabres game tomorrow when they play the San Jose Sharks. We get to go on a tour of the arena, sit on a panel discussion with some of their employees, and we even get to go on the ice after the game. So that's pretty cool, and they've been playing really great lately, so this is a great opportunity for all of us. Last week was Clash Week, and of course we had our annual Spirit Week leading up to it. We had Blue and White Day, Mathletes and Athletes, Decades Day, Tourist Day, and Class Color Day. Students also had the opportunity to participate in lunch games that occurred during their lunch periods. We had pie eating contests, a quiz bowl, Finish the Lyric, Guess That Blank, and Minute to Win It. And also on Friday during the day, which was our 2nd year doing this, we played Ultimate Rock, Paper, Scissors. So everyone starts the day with one necklace that corresponds with the color of their class, and they go through the day playing rock, paper, scissors. And if they win the beaded necklace from their opponent. And the goal at the end of the day is for your class to have as many necklaces as possible. So it's fun, you kind of just go around the day just playing rock, paper, scissors with your friends, and just a fun way to be interactive and get involved. And then Friday night we had Salsa Night, which is one of my favorite traditions here. Just before Clash, nice get together with your friends, you get to dance, and this year is from our very own Miss Caitlin Kleinschmidt, and so that was a lot of fun, and we got to enjoy delicious tacos from La Divina, so that was always fun. And of course on Friday night after Salsa we had Clash, and definitely will go down in history this year's Clash. The seniors dominated with victory after doing great all week in lunch games and dressing up. We played games like Battleship, the Egg Toss, Mattress Relay, Tug of War, and more. And of course, the infamous Eat Your Breakfast in the Food Competition. I just want to say thank you to Ms. Rustowitz and Mrs. Bryceland and all the student council and officers, because Clash is just a lot of work, and it was just such a fun night. Of course, for the seniors we won, so that was a lot of fun, but it's just a fun night for everyone to get everyone involved. And for this year's Change for Change, so all the class officers have a jug that is the color of their class. So ours was pink for the seniors, and class officers take turns walking around with the day, carrying around their jug and collecting money. And this year it went to Roswell. So as a school, we raised about $1,000 that would be donated to cancer research, and that's pretty impressive because we were just collecting change, so pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. So it's really nice that everyone brought in food to, or change to be collected. And today the Unified Bowling Team headed out to Tonawanda Lanes for their annual end of the season culminating event and won first in the division. Top bowlers of the day included Jameson Hoffman, Zachary Flick, and Dominic Nucci. Logan Scott also received the Heart of a Champion Award, which is given to an athlete who demonstrates integrity, perseverance, and grit in sports. It was a fun and successful way to end the 2026 season. We heard them getting off the bus today, and they were all cheering and excited. So they were excited before they left, and it was really nice to see them how happy and excited they were when they got off the bus. And just a couple miscellaneous spring sports kicked off today, so kids are trying out for their spring sports, and also Celebration of Inspiration forms were handed out last week. So this is a long-standing tradition at Grand Island that us seniors really look forward to be able to honor a teacher that's really had a strong impact on us throughout our years here.
Thank you, Sienna. On to correspondence, recognition, and good news with Dr. Graham.
Thank you. At first, I just would like to start off by recognizing Samara Johnson. Samara, are you here? You might have walked past you, I'm so sorry. I know Brett Banker wasn't feeling well, but Samara, we're recognizing you for all the good work that you do, of course, in our district, but above and beyond that, you are representing yourself and our district in ways that are ultra professional by writing an article, telling a story, and researching that story so that other athletic trainers could benefit from your expertise in working a true case study that occurred in our district. Not only did you put this journal article together, but it was approved, right, by a refereed professional journal. But I'm just wondering if you don't mind, if you could just say a few words about that process. And I know you're also involved in a doctoral program where very soon you could be eligible to receive the DR in front of your name, which is pretty awesome. I also know that Tony Cerise is here, and he supports you greatly. Tony is one of your supervisors through the Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center. So, Samara, do you want to just say a few words about the process and what it was like to be published in this journal?
So for this article, I actually had no idea about what this injury was prior to a student athlete coming in. And working collaboratively with Dr. Cordero, we kind of figured out what was going on. And it was very interesting that we had never learned about this injury before. So I did a little bit more research, knowing about the Journal of Athletic Training, which is kind of our national journal. It's been kind of a career-long goal to find something that would be worth publishing in there, worth getting pushed through to publishing. So getting approval from the student, their parents, and then kind of getting all the information about this case, getting it all together, and going through revision processes. I think there were 3 different cases that needed revision where they sent it back, fixed some stuff, sent it back to them. And then Tony Cerise was extremely helpful during this process. He works at Damon as well, so he's had a couple students work on this before, so he was really great in guiding me through this as well.
Yeah, that's really great. And the actual case study was significant enough to be able to express this across the industry, across the United States, and maybe even outside of the United States. Is that accurate?
Yes, it doesn't happen often in sports, but it then falls off our radar if we're not looking for something like this. So it's important that as athletic trainers, we're still looking for cases where if things aren't lining up, then it might be something different than what we think, which was the case in this situation.
Yeah, good. Tony, is there anything you wanted to add as just somebody who works closely with Samara?
Sure.
Just to put you on the spot a little bit. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Tony, if you could just let everybody know your title and the work that you do.
I'm Tony Cerise, the Director of Sports Medicine at Niagara Falls Memorial. And just to support Samara here and And the work that she did on this project was significant. I mean, I was there to guide her, in mentoring her a little bit in this project, but she did an unbelievable job in writing it and putting it together, and you don't understand the number of revisions and things that we had to do to get this approved, but she did a great job, and she just did an outstanding work. So
Yeah, that's
it's just
great.
a support.
Yeah. Samara, did you bring anybody with you today? Okay. Would you be so kind as to let us take a group picture? Why don't you hang tight, because we'll do a group picture with our top 10 students, and then we'll have you jump into that too, okay? Samara, well done. We're very, very proud of you. Thank you. Oh, and up next, so Hillary, would you be able to share the good news of our top 10 seniors this year?
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Graham, and District Administrators. This evening, we are so proud to recognize our Grand Island High School Academic Top 10 for the class of 2026. These students have demonstrated exceptional dedication, perseverance, and commitment to academic excellence throughout their high school careers. Their achievements are a testament to their hard work, their intellectual curiosity, and their passion for learning. Beyond just their impressive GPAs, these students also have balanced rigorous coursework, which includes AP and honors classes, and they've also excelled in extracurricular activities, leadership roles, and service to our school and community. Each of these students has made a lasting impact on our school, and I have no doubt they're going to continue to achieve great things in their future. I'm going to ask that each student stand as I call your name. We'll start with Colin Morgan, Elijah Kastner, don't think he's able to make it, Audrey Haller, Yeva Stialga, Aiden Filambieska, sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong, I know. Brianna Riaski, Cleopatra Basilico, Gabriela Amato, Janelle Spies, and Cameron Harding.
We're very, very proud of you. I know the board has asked in the past some questions like, what's next after high school? I don't know if you feel brave enough, but if you could join Mrs. Chris Harvey at the podium, just to share your next steps, maybe, where you might be going to school after Grand Island High School and some things you'd like to study. So, is this Colin? Hi, Colin. So after high school, what are your thoughts?
Definitely mechanical engineering and probably at IT.
Okay, good. You're still weighing your options?
Yeah.
Great. Does anybody have any questions from the board? All right, congratulations. We're going to take a group picture next, but thank you so much. Is this Brianna?
I am going to be going to RIT for mechanical engineering and the automotive option, and I'm also going to be swimming Division 3 there as well.
Congratulations. That's wonderful. Well done. Thank you.
I'm looking to major in neuroscience, but I'm still undecided on where I'm going to school.
All right. Can you just remind us of your name?
Audrey Haller.
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I'm going to study forensic accounting. I'm not sure where.
Oh, great. Have you looked at UB?
No.
No, okay. I just say that my son Sean's, one of his best friends, is actually studying forensic accounting at UB, so I was just curious.
He's looking to get out of the area.
Yeah, I gotcha. No worries. Thank you, Janelle.
My name is Cleo. I'm hoping to study French and TESOL education, most likely at Niagara University.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. Congratulations.
My name is Yeva Staliga, and I plan to pursue a doctorate in nursing, and I will start with bachelor's at UB.
All right. Congratulations.
My name is Cami. I'm undecided on the school, but I plan to study biochemistry and hopefully go into genetic engineering.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm not sure where I want to go, but I probably want to study law or forensic psychology.
All right. Congratulations. Can we hear from everybody? All right. Let's give them a big round of applause and we'll do a photo. I'll take a couple, and then Allie and Alice will take some pictures. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. If the board could say to our students, thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause. Good singing. Samara? It's just great. Oh, no, thank you, everybody. Now I'll tell you a story. All right, we're going to get a quick picture of Samara and Mr. Rice. Good, going on work. Thank you. Good job, Samara.
All right, so on to public comment session, agenda items only. We did not have anyone sign up for that, but we did want to make mention of trustee Sue Marston's location at 101 Walker Road, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, 17201. Okay. And so that brings us to curriculum and instruction with John Dispatch.
Thank you. This evening, we have 3 items on the agenda. Item A is just for information purposes only. It's the February 2026 curriculum update. And item B and C are action items, please. The item B is the approval of the school calendar for next year, 26-27. And then item C is the memorandum agreement for the calendar.
Okay, so if I can have a motion for curriculum instruction, items B and C. And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Joy stepped up.
Yeah. She's back. We're in. We're good. Okay. Yeah. So that is 5-0. We got that one. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick. Okay. Now on to personnel instruction. Can I have a motion to approve PI 1 through 7. Got a second? All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carried 6-0. All right, personnel non-instructional. Can I have a motion to approve PNI 1 through 3? And a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried 6-0. All right. And so that brings us to finance with Dr. Douglas Brown.
All right, under finance, there's 12 items. 5 of them are action items and 7 are information. The action items are A through E. So we start out with budget transfers over the amount over $15,000. And then, I don't know, you want to go with each one, or you want to, I can talk about them separately.
Yeah, why don't you talk about them separately, and then we can.
So A, whenever there's a transfer over $15,000, the board has to approve that. And we have 2 transfers, one for Zero Eyes, which are cameras that have been placed around the school. And the other one is we're moving money within the school lunch department to buy necessary equipment. So that's A. On B, there are 25 student desks at Kegabine School that are old and need to be surplused. C is an internal audit of the transportation and school lunch department. This is an audit that is required by state law, and it is directed by the school district. In other words, we tell them where to go and look, and we change every year the departments we're looking at. In the school lunch department, there were 4 things that the audit recommended, and remember, these are for internal controls to make our departments more efficient. So 4 items under school lunch. Budget to actual reports are not being given to the board, and it's suggested that we do that, so we will do that. There was no contract with St. Stephen's School to provide lunches and breakfast, and we do that on a daily basis and have done for years. So on the agenda tonight is a contract for you to approve. And the treasurer needs to reconcile the school lunch accounts, the bank accounts. So we will also do that. So those are the 4 things to make the school lunch department better. In transportation, there's 1 item. While we measure the amount of diesel fuel that's being used by ourselves, the town, etc., we have the tank, and the police and fire, and I believe others fill up there. While it is all measured by a fob system, someone needs to look at those records on a monthly basis to balance the amount of gallons that were there, and balance the records from the fob to what we're actually using. So that's their recommendation. We do use a software system called GasBoy, and we're just not looking at those records, so that has to be done. D is the corrective action plan. Whenever you have an audit in a school district, whether it's your general fund audit annually or whether it's these risk management audits for internal controls, you have to do a corrective action plan if there's anything seen. And the corrective action plan is sent to the state and tells them that we will follow through on these things. So that's in your packet. E is the contract with St. Stephen's School, and we do provide breakfast and lunch there. We have a staff person that's there. We provide the food. The staff person is our person. They cook the food, serve it to the children, but we've never had an official contract, and that was recommended. The information, well, let's start with the action. So,
Okay, so we're looking for a motion, finance A through E.
I have a question about the contract. Oh, go ahead, Sue.
I just wanted to just verify that that contract was looked at by our attorneys.
yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
And he did recommend that we provide an insurance certificate that's attached to that. And we've done that through our nicer insurance company. So that contract has been reviewed by the superintendent, by the attorney, and the insurance, the necessary insurance binders with it.
I know we discussed it in the subcommittee, and I just wanted to make sure that it would be fair.
Yes. That was Hanson and Russ, Mr. Jeff Switek.
Yeah, I figured. Thank you.
I have a question about the contract with, for the food. Are we required to provide that staff person, are we being compensated, or is that coming out of our budget for St. Stephen's? And are we required, I know we're required for a certain percentage of our technology budget to be allocated for St. Stephen's. I know that we are required to provide St. Stephen's transportation. Is this another requirement to have the staff person paid for by, I'm assuming it's being paid for by our district and that we're not being reimbursed for that staff person that's dedicated to St. Stephen's?
It's being paid by the school lunch fund. The school lunch fund is separate from the general fund, but it's its own fund.
Right.
So the money it collects, the money can only be spent within the school lunch fund. You have for years provided a staff member there.
Right. I'm asking if it's a requirement
If it's
though.
required.
I know we've done it, and I believe we've talked about it before that it's not a requirement, and I'm just wondering if we are doing a formal contract, why we're just not being compensated as a district for, I mean, it's a full-time position, and what it costs the districts, what is the, when we're, I don't know, at the last meeting, we were saying we were going to be very careful about the budget and the money being spent. So I'm just wondering if this is a contract that we're just creating now, why we're not requiring that to be compensated for an employee that basically we're gifting to St. Stephen's if it's not in fact required. And I believe we've discussed this before, that it is not required, but we've done it.
It is required. So I do believe it is required. And that is something we should look in before we approve this contract. But I believe actually like transportation comes out of your taxes. I believe that is part of it, but I could be wrong, because it has come up before, and it came up when we were in such a deficit. And they really just had a written agreement, like letter from 1988. So there was something informal, formal from 1988, but it was not a contract. So this kind of solidifies what was written back in 1988. But I'm with Ashley, we need to find out if that is, but it is my understanding that it is part of what comes out of the school taxes.
I'm not sure if it's required or not, but.
We should find that out before we finalize this contract.
Sure, we can table the contract.
Sure, we can table the contract.
That's a good point, Ashley.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The cost of the food too, right? Because I know this came up back when we were operating at such a deficit too, and I thought at that point we may have answered these questions, but I think it's a good time to revisit them.
Okay.
For sure.
These questions have not come up since I've been here, so I didn't.
No, it would have been quite a few years ago.
I can check into both of those things and we can put it on the next agenda if you want it on the next agenda.
Yeah, at the time we were short-staffed in our lunch areas of different buildings. We were short-staffed and we were kind of looking at like, well, if we are not being compensated for this position and we don't have to, could we bring this position back and use it in our buildings, I think was part of the discussion. So I'm not 100% confident that it is required, and that's what I would like to know. And if it isn't, is there a way to add any compensation into this contract? Because it is a full-time position that then we'd be giving them. And also, I didn't think of it, but Sue makes a really, really good point about the cost of the food as well, and what is the compensation for that. So the contract might not need to be revisited in terms of, you know, what is the compensation of Grand Island and that sort of thing. So if we could just vote on all the other items and take this one out.
Yeah, I think we need to clarify that. I know we visited it years ago, but to understand what the responsibility of it is to the private schools through the tax monies collected, I guess, is what we're looking for. Right, Ash?
Yes. I know we have a responsibility in terms of providing the transportation. I know that part of our
And there is
technology
something with food.
budget, but I don't think this was a requirement.
I don't remember.
I just add that if it is discretionary, my concern is it becoming a requirement based on the pattern behavior of the relationship over time. So like the slippery slope with that. So I think that these are good questions, and I look forward to hearing more at the next meeting. Thank you, Ashley, for flagging.
Anyone else? Yeah, do we need a motion to table E or A through D? We don't need a motion to table E. Okay, so can I have a motion to approve finance A through D?
I'll motion.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 6-0. And E will be tabled to revisit the next meeting. Okay. All right, and then the informational stuff, Dr.
The
Williams?
information is F through L, and it starts off with budget transfers under 15,000, and there's a list of them in your packet. The treasurer's report for August, September, and October. The revenue report for August, September, and October. The check warrants for January and February. Extracurricular reports for the high school from July through February. Extracurricular report for the middle school, July through February. And the last one was a memo on the difference between Versatran and Transversa, which came up at the last meeting. And I put that in writing for you. Those are the information items.
Do we have any questions on any of the informational items? Okay, I think that leaves us with our budget presentation.
Okay, all right. I can get us started, Doug. But go ahead, do you have a question? I think.
No, I'm just going to say it's an 86-page.
86 pages.
So,
I appreciate that.
Going to hit the highlights, but before, go ahead, start, and then we have pupil services, and then we can.
That's right. So traditionally, for our board and for the public, this is during the second phase of budget development. We also hear from our assistant superintendents regarding their programs that they oversee and some of the celebrations and or challenges that we have. So as we get started, we do and always like to start with our mission. And I do thank the board for supporting the work that has been done to build a strategic blueprint for excellence, which did edit this mission. And the mission is to inspire each student to achieve their highest potential by entering their unique pathway, fostering academic excellence, supporting personal growth, and promoting social responsibility. So we thank the board for their guidance with that. Also, for the last 10 years that I've been here, we talk about these budget goals all the time. And just for our community to develop a long-term, sustainable budget designed to provide the best diversified educational program for our students, UPK through grade 12, retain all community-mandated student programs and activities, and to do our very best to protect the fund balance. So I thank you always for your guidance with that. I will bypass the strategic plan goals. You've seen this slide in previous presentations, but I do thank the board again for being part of this process, guiding us, allowing us to work on these goals and how these goals are supported in our programs. And you'll see how that is true today when Cheryl and John present their programs to you. As you know, we are now in March, so this budget development process has been ongoing. We thank the board for all of your guidance with respect to budget development. For our community, if you're new to watching this, the board takes this role very seriously, and we're grateful for their governance in this area. These are some of the meeting dates. Obviously, we're here today on March 9th. We'll do this again, the third iteration, on March 23rd. The board is keenly aware that the governor must enact her budget Her deadline is April 1st. Sometimes she or other governors have been on time. This governor has been late with enacting her budget. We're going to be paying very, very careful attention to the enacted budget. The board may know through my Friday memo that I met recently with my colleagues and the new senator, the New York State Senator, Jeremy Zellner, and we went to his office, and as a group of superintendents that are within his 61st district, we were advocating for our districts and the needs that we have, and we had a very robust conversation with Mr. Zellner. He was just elected, so he's learning his role in this, but it's a little bit like drinking from a fire hose, but he was very, very attentive. And we're very hopeful that through his guidance, public schools are protected in the final iteration of the budget. So on March 23rd, we'll bring the next iteration of the budget to the board. And it is a tentative budget adoption date, or we could do that at a later date. So I thank you. We thank the board for paying attention to that outline of the budget development. And today, obviously we're going to be covering quite a bit. And I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl Cardone to hear from her and her program and how that impacts our students and faculty on a daily basis.
Run the slides, right? All right. So good evening, everyone. Tonight I'd like to give the Board of Education an overview of personnel services for the upcoming school year.
Just a little closer.
Okay. I'll briefly highlight the program, services, and staff that support our students academically, socially, emotionally, and physically across the district. As you can see on the PBS overview, Pupil Personnel Services supports students from preschool through grade 12. Our department oversees all of the above: special ed, counseling and psychological services, speech, language, ENL support, and health services. All of these services work together to ensure that our students receive the support they need to succeed both in and outside the classroom. Across the district, we provide a continuum of special education services based on individual student needs. This slide actually is current on what we're providing this year. We have integrated co-teaching classrooms, self-contained classrooms, and consultant teacher services. Each school building offers different program models depending on the student needs. In addition, at the bottom, you can see that we also provide services for our preschool students, and currently we have about 145 3 and 4-year-olds that we are servicing. And when I started, I'm going to date myself, but when I started, that number hovered, a little bit below 70. So over the course of X amount of years, 15 years, we've actually doubled those services for our preschool students. Just wanted to highlight some of our programs. As everybody knows, we do have a special education extended school year program. It runs every summer for approximately 6 weeks, usually right after 4th of July to the middle of August. The goal is to prevent regression and help students maintain both academic and related service skills. This program does run Monday through Friday, approximately 9:15 to 3:15, and on Friday, the students do get to take a field trip for those 6 weeks. Students are provided the opportunities for social interaction and community engagement as well, and we actually do service in this special ed program 80+ students, and it's ever continuing and growing with those number of students.
I do want to thank the board. Many years ago, you gave us permission to build this program, and the benefit for our families is tremendous. For students to be transported from in Grand Island to a Grand Island school for their extended school year is so much better than going off island to other locations, and it just makes the quality of life and the quality of schooling so much better for our children. So thank you to the board for that guidance.
And I just wanted to highlight too that in the last couple of years, we do partner with Niagara County Social Services. David Junicky Howe actually brought it to us when he was interning a couple of years ago, but they actually provide us breakfast and lunch for the students as well. So it's another bonus for our program. Simultaneously, for 4 weeks out of the summer, we run an E&L summer program that runs half day. It's a K-5 program, focuses on helping students continue to develop their English language skills through listening, speaking, reading, and writing. They maintain language development over the summer, and it helps prevent gaps that can occur when students are not regularly practicing English. We service anywhere between 12 and 15 of our EML students, K-5. The nice thing is too, is they join us for our field trips for the 4 weeks that they are with us as well. So it's a great opportunity for them. Last year, thank you to Dr. Ann and the Board of Education, we did come up with a Viking Voyage summer program for our students in grades 4 through 6. The program focused on helping students build resilience, develop coping strategies, and strengthen emotional regulation skills. The students did work with staff. We have actually 3 in-house staff members that work with our students on coping skills and managing challenge both in school and in everyday situations. And what this program really did also was really keep a connection for those students that really need that connection over the summer with school. It provided them that opportunity. The other unintended consequence was the fact that our Youth and Kegamine kiddos, instead of meeting at the middle school, got to meet in the summer as well. So they forged some of those friendships before they even entered the middle school. So it was a great program. We had about 35 students, and we will be running it again this year for those weeks, and already have 3 staff members that are ready to take this on again. So thank you. Okay. SABA. The SABA program is a unique opportunity for students with disabilities to participate in an adaptive ice skating program. It did start out with just 1 class. Actually, Melissa Nesselbeck class started this, and I am happy to say that we have multiple classrooms across the district that are now participating in this program. Every single building has a class or 2 that are participating in this program. We plan to continue that next year as well. Brett Finnan, our behavior therapist, actually works with the students on the ice, to help with their social skills, when they're doing these activities. So we have the teachers, the aide, Brett Finnan, and we do have some of our principals that show up as well. Thank you for that. This past year, we actually transitioned from CPI. CPI is a crisis prevention intervention, and we actually transitioned to safety care. We felt that this would benefit our faculty, staff, and students more, and also instead of contracting that service out through BOCES, we actually have 3 in-house trainers at the current time. We have Lauren Stang, we have Jessica Hutchings, and we actually have Brett Finnan as well. Safety Cares is a crisis prevention and intervention training program. It helps with preventing, the training focuses on preventing challenging behaviors, safety de-escalation, and responding consistently across classroom and buildings. This year, we have trained so far 66 faculty and staff. We have also trained some individuals in transportation, and we're also looking at training not only more of our faculty and staff, but also some of our cafeteria monitors for next year too. So it's been a great, a really nice, great to have our faculty and staff consistently know these behavior strategies across the board, K-12. Youth mental health first aid. I think you've heard this over and over. We did meet our goal. Every single faculty and staff member were trained in 2 years. Right now, we are just concentrating on all of our new hires that we've had over the course of this year, and they will be trained. They will actually be trained by the end of this school year as well. We are looking at retraining everybody because we have to do that. So I've been working with John and Jessica Hutchings to ensure that that training will start all over again to make sure that we're training all of our faculty, staff, all of our stakeholders, athletes, coaches, etc. in mental health first aid. Additional services. These services include OTPT, speech counseling, vision, hearing, and behavioral supports. This year also at the high school, we are offering our life skills students art therapy, and then we also offer some of our students music therapy as well. One of the things that I didn't put on here, or didn't make the slide, was our family support services. Just wanted to remind everybody that we are currently serving 60 students. We've had 70 referrals this year. We have our agencies are in our buildings 5 days a week, and 3 agencies are servicing our students. And then Jessica Hutchins actually met with a place called Sanctuary, so we will be partnering with another counseling agency to offer some counseling services for our students, and that will be housed, that agency will be housed in City. So we continue to look for new opportunities. Right. Personnel at current time, we have 42 special education teachers. We have 17 teaching assistants and 37 teacher aides. Also, we have 7 speech pathologists, 6 social workers, 6 psychologists, 7 counselors. We have a plethora of 8 nurses, including transportation, and we have 5 ENL teachers. So I just wanted to take this opportunity again to thank the board and Dr. Graham for your continued effort and investment in all of the services, so that our students are supported with their needs. So again, thank you very much. In closing, we are committed to supporting the social, emotional, physical, and academic needs of all students, which is outlined in the strategic plan. And I want to again thank you for your continued support. And does anybody have any questions for this evening?
I have a quick question. What is the cost to partnership with the new agency that you just mentioned, or is that at no cost?
So everybody that we partner with, Ashley, there's no cost to the district whatsoever.
Okay, I figured, I just wanted to make that clear, so if people in the community are listening, they're aware that we're not taking on additional responsibilities financially, but these are free services that benefit our students and their mental health, and it's at no cost for us. Thank you.
Any other questions? I just want to say thank you for keeping so many of our kids here on Grand Island, these services. And Dr. Graham, you too. I know you're a big advocate for that. It's just, I think it's the best. So thank you very much for that.
And, to tag on that, I have to tell you, our principals, I have to thank them because, they are in the trenches every single day. So, part of that as well is the principals really do a nice job with helping keeping our kids here. It's such an important
Sure. Of course.
I have one more thing with the Viking Voyager program. It would be interesting to see over time with the self-regulation strategies that you're using, if it impacted student behavior at the middle level at all, if our behavior incidences decreased at all, and to kind of collect data on that, because I have a feeling that this type of program, just with the self-regulation strategies, especially, as students are becoming 7th and 8th graders, just having that the coping skills. That's really what a lot of kids I've noticed over the years have lacked, that self-regulation and the ability to cope with situations, and especially when material gets more difficult when you move from elementary school to middle school. So just managing those emotions overall, does it result in over time a decrease in the amount of referrals or discipline incidences among, say, 7th and 8th graders? Because I'm assuming that you're targeting students that really, really need to develop those self-regulation skills, and that's really the strategies for students with like ADHD, not having the regulation skills a lot of times that they need in order to control their emotions and their behavior, and that's kind of how they get into these difficult situations behaviorally. So I would just be interested over time if we've had any decrease in behavior, because I think it's a great program, and I just wanted to add that as far as like data to be collected.
We can take a look at that for sure. John reminded me too that we did start a similar program over COVID. John, you want to talk about it for a second?
Actually, some of the COVID money that we were given, we at the middle school, Jessica Hutchins and Michelle Page created a very similar group to touch base with kids who needed coping skills over the summertime. So it was pretty successful, I would say. A lot of the students that were in that program initially were sixth graders, so we got to see a little bit of how that impacted their life moving forward in seventh and eighth grade.
I can work with Felicia too.
Thanks.
Sounds like you just created a second doctoral study for yourself.
Oh, it's okay. One was enough on that front.
Yeah. The one thing I would also layer into this conversation, Ashley, is that not unlike our extended school year program for children with special needs, like significant special needs, one thing that I think is at the root of this is that we don't have kids regress after the 10 months of counseling and support services, and then they go into the summer without those services. And so I think this keeps kids connected to their counselors, their social workers, practicing those skills, reinforcing those skills so there isn't regression. So that's another layer here. So thank you for that.
Okay, so I'm up. I want to first thank the Board of Education for providing that support to help us provide probably one of the best academic programs overall in our area. I also want to thank our teachers, our outstanding teachers who do a really good job of going the extra mile, making sure the programs are top-notch and working as hard as they can. I want to thank our principals for all the work they do to plan for and prepare for all these different programs that we can highlight and see on a daily and weekly basis and a yearly basis. And the students that we're standing up here, top 10, I want to thank our kids because ultimately they're the ones who are working very hard. The Sienna Sarkeys of the world and all the other people, and Matt Aronica, a graduate, all the work that they did to put us on the map. So tonight, I'm going to give you a brief overview of our performance, highlight key successes, identify priority areas, and really share the actions we're taking to strengthen the outcomes for all students. Here's, if you take a look at this page, the executive summary, we're strong overall, particularly at the high school and elementary mathematics levels. The data also highlights key priorities, including earth science, middle school ELA, and achievement gaps for students with disabilities, or students who have an IEP. So most Regents exams exceed 85% proficiency, especially ELA, Algebra 2, Living Environment, Social Studies, and Earth Science stands out as the primary area that is needing improvement. And I do want to point out that as we're talking about Earth Science, they're transitioning right now to the new Earth and Space Science, Regents exam. So that'll be an area that will be receiving a lot of professional development. I do want to point out ELA Regents at the high school, 95% proficiency, which is just outstanding. It's 20 points above the state average. 61% of our students scored at a level 5, and they demonstrated an advanced performance. And if you take a look at that subgroup, students with disabilities, 71% of our students who have an IEP were proficient on ELA. That means they either scored 3 or 4. So that's really an outstanding achievement for our ELA staff. The 4-year total cohort for 4-year outcomes, these are your freshman class of fall 2021, and now they're graduating this year. This is how they've performed on their Regents exams overall. They tested out extremely high, between 96 and 99%. Proficiency rates across Regents subjects range from 89 to 95%, but it is showing strong outcomes overall. So really a great job. Okay, this is where we do need to do some intervening with our Earth Science. And again, I said they are working on a new exam, 57% proficiency with significant subgroup gaps. That includes our students who have special needs. The high school, as an action plan, they are conducting a curriculum review. This has been ongoing. They're doing in-depth Regents item analysis, and they're working with BOCES in consortium groups to strengthen the vertical alignment, especially through grade 6 through 12. So it's, if you were talking to our science department, it's like an all-in game right now to bolster our Regents or science scores, okay? And really it's the student performance overall. All right.
John,
Yes?
will we see that action plan when it's in place, or?
I can get you more information on the action plan. It's not a formal document, it's just we participate in a lot of, and we're doing a lot of, we're taking a lot of actions. If you want me to put it in a document, I can actually do that, but,
Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything formal, but
Okay.
just maybe kind of what's being discussed, what you guys are looking at.
Sure.
And certainly that's something everybody's gonna look to increase. It'd be nice to see what the plan is and then see how those numbers change as the years go on.
absolutely, absolutely.
Nothing formal, just kind of what the plan is, what would be great to see.
How do we line up with,
Other school districts or science people, you know.
I can get that information for you.
It seems like, or science for ninth graders, I don't know. It seems like challenging.
Let's see.
Yes.
Yes, it's challenging math.
Yeah, I sat in an earth science class about 2 weeks ago, and I was watching the teacher. It's a completely new, it's a difficult course as it is, right? It's a very intuitive, intellectual, not intellectually, but it's a higher level thinking skill course to begin with. And forgive this really mediocre, and you know, it's trying sometimes to have kids be less concrete thinking and more abstract. So making 2 + 2 = 5 and figuring out how that got to 5. I sat in the earth science class 2 weeks ago to watch the teaching, and it's even more synthesizing, even more analytical than it's ever been. The students had to work through 3 different charts, where before, if you remember going to the earth science reference tables to get your answer, now you have to go from, say, the reference tables that's going to give you one piece of information, then to another table or chart, and then to a third chart to finally get your information. So it's not only the synthesizing that is required, but it's also the stamina to stick with it. You know, you're going to get to the finish line sooner.
I always wondered why it was a science class for ninth graders, you know? It seems like it was more challenging than like biology in ninth grade. But, you know, it is, I'm glad that we're addressing this thing.
That was also administered online, right? So this was on a computer, or was it paper?
No, it was still paper. Oh, still paper, yes.
Do we have 8th graders taking their science?
We do.
Okay. We're still keeping it at the whole school.
It is. The 8th graders right now are 100% proficient.
Oh.
Oh, really?
How are we in terms with prior years? Are we lower than prior years?
I can look that information up.
Just be interesting to see, you know, what, are we trending down?
Sure.
Staying the same, just to kind of figure out.
Absolutely. Any other questions on yours? Thank you. Okay, we're always paying attention to our students with disabilities and where they are in terms of graduation. And I can say Mrs. Kretz Harvey and the high school team has a very comprehensive child study team to make sure that gaps are closed. So you're going to see here in this chart that between earth science all the way down to ELA, there are still gaps between how these students compare to a general education student. But right now we are at the lower levels, we're participating in a targeted skills group to review all gaps in interventions. That's the state's doing this with us. But the information that we're obtaining through this targeted skills groups will apply to grade levels above. We're of course always reviewing the co-teaching models, and you know, every kid is on their own journey, so it's going to look different for any kid you know, what they need to close the gap. We are committed to trying to make sure that gaps are closed. And I caution putting up a number like this chart because it lumps everyone in the same category, when really, if we're looking at a child with an IEP, each kid is different and might have different needs. And that's why I mentioned this is Chris Harvey's team, you know, with their comprehensive child study team. They're always looking to make sure the gaps are closed for every kid. So, okay. So good news here with math. We have exceeded, our district outperforms the state at every grade level. And these are the 3 through 8 math assessments. Our overall proficiency is 73% compared with 57% statewide. And I want to point out, so I think it was about 10 years ago when the Board of Education charged the school district with increasing our math scores. There was a very big concern with our math scores about 10 years ago, somewhere around that time. So if you take a look at it, here's the results of 10 years in the system of kids at that time, you know, roundabout. You know, so now our math is up. Glenn would be very pleased.
Yeah.
Glenn, go ahead.
And Sue, and Joy.
It was all that, and it was also making sure that what was being taught was the same categories.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, this is just as a whole, but it would be interesting because over the years we did see the math scores at Duke versus the math scores at Pepperdine. If you guys have that data, that would be nice to see, especially for some of us old timers that have been on.
Sure, yeah, how it's changed.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that for you. It's important, you're talking about alignment, and we're definitely going to talk about alignment when it comes to ELA, so I just want to make sure that I don't forget that. I don't think I would. Okay, so if we move on to ELA. So ELA, elementary performance is very strong, especially in grade 5. Grade 6 and 7 are slightly below the state averages and our target focus area for us at this point. And it has to do with, we are aligning in grades 3 through 5, but we need to align more, and we're going to talk about some of those things, especially in our elementary grades, and what we're going to do to take some action in the middle school to help those performance results. Before I'll get to the, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, Brian, thank you. All right, so these are the iReady benchmark. You'll see a chart for math, you'll see a chart for ELA. If you look at the first column on the left, that's the national norm that they take in the wintertime. 14 million kids take the iReady assessment, okay? And the reason all scores are compared to 2 years prior, or a year and a half prior, is because it takes a lot of time for them to establish where the median rates are with 14 million kids across the nation. So that's why that is set at winter 22-23. The national year-to-date for 25-26 of all the kids who have reported scoring so far is the second column in. And the New York year-to-date of all the schools that take the iReady assessment is the third column. And you're looking at the fourth column, that is the district column. And we do quite well in math. And what you always want to see is more green than the other 3 columns ahead of that, okay? But you have to keep an eye on where you are in the green. So we have more green and less red, which is really good compared to the national average and also compared to our state average, okay? All right, thank you. So the performance in ELA for the iReady benchmark is it's slightly less. So meaning that we're hovering around our, if you look at the district level, we are hovering around close to the national average, close to the state average. It's something to watch that we need to address now. I'm not going to raise an alarm, but I'm going to say we need to be focusing on this as we're moving forward. So that's where we stand right now. Any question on the iReady assessment? Okay. I do want to credit, you can stay on this page. Yeah, so one thing the middle school did, and we'll talk about the middle school in a minute. We're going to focus on the middle school for a second, but one thing that was principals have been doing is we found that our student scores get improved when they get more opportunities to take the assessment. In years past, we were giving them one opportunity to take the assessment, and it was more like a snapshot in time. And if the kid came in really sleepy that day or just wasn't up for sitting in the hour-long assessment, then your scores might be different. So our principals have been really working to make sure every kid gets a chance to do it the best at the best time they possibly can. So that leads us to the middle school. So the middle school is going to be a focus for us. I want to highlight, honestly, other than doing curriculum review and individualized learning supports and strengthening AIS identification, we still have a pattern of high test refusal rates in the middle school. And that is a problem. It's test refusal, it's not opting out. You don't have the option to not take a state assessment, to not do the iReady assessments. And I encourage, with the graduation measures changing in Portrait of the Graduate, it's always important to have our students sit and have questions that are asked that they'll be exposed to at a later date in high school. So, to participate in those assessments, I think, are very important.
It's good practice for the SAT coming up.
Another good point.
And
Right.
the PSAT and just all the tests that they're gonna have they'll have in college. And if they're not sitting for them now,
Right.
then if they plan on moving on to a program that's, academic in nature, it's going to be a real struggle when they have to sit for a PSAT or an SAT, and then in college when they have to sit for exams. It just becomes very difficult because they're not used to that kind of a test.
That's right.
So what happens when a child refuses to take the test? Are they removed from the classroom? Do they just sit there? Where do they go?
I think, we'd have to talk to the principal. I don't remember how that's changed.
And is it the parent that's refusing?
We rarely have a student who sits in their seat and has the test in front of them, close the exam and say, I refuse. We have a lot of parents who either phone call, email, or send in letters saying, and this is part of my, I want to make sure that the community knows that they're refusing. There's no option. And that word that came out a long time ago, you have the option to take an exam. You really don't have the option. And so
It's a little contagious too, Joe. When there's a group of middle school kids talking on the bus saying, hey, my mother's letting me refuse the test today, then the next day the number grows and our poor administrators are shuffling kids, I think, in the cafeteria where they can read quietly, but it becomes contagious. And it doesn't, and I can say our refusal numbers at the elementary are low, but as soon as the kids have a little bit more autonomy coming to school and middle school, it changes.
I agree. I mean, they are talking, because my daughter's in 6th grade, and she'll come home and say, can I not take the test? And I say, well, you take the test. Because, they're talking on the bus, or they're talking in the hall, and this person's mom said that she doesn't have to take it, and I have to hear, but Mom, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and I'm like, well, that's their period.
And it just helps our teachers understand, like, sometimes what they may not be doing well or what they're really strong in. Maybe could spend less time.
Yeah, if I could just mention, this is not unique to us in Grand Island, right? It's everywhere. So, but it's getting better, right? Would you agree? As the elementary schools,
Yeah, the elementaries have made a huge improvement.
Well, if the refusal rate with the middle school increases, maybe we can just tackle more of the why besides just the contagious aspect of it and addressing parents. That's just what I would add.
Wasn't there years ago, like, probably right when you first came on, they had the option to opt out, if I remember it correctly. So it
it was never, I mean, interrupt you, it was never the option, but what was happening is the movement became so large that we had to send out a letter prior to so that we can manage the numbers on the testing window day. Like you could only give the test on one day, and when you spent the first hour and a half of the morning trying to shuffle 200 kids.
I remember, and I think back then they were moved to the cafeteria or something. I mean, it was.
There was good reason historically that Dr. John King was in charge, and he made significant and detrimental changes, which changed proficiency rates from, say, 75% for some schools to 33%. So there was a movement by Dr. King, who now is running, he's the chancellor of the SUNY system, but at that time, he made some significant changes, and people rightly pushed back and said, this is ridiculous, right? There was the introduction of the Common Core, race to the top, and Dr. King's changing of what was measured as proficient, which made all kids in the state go from 70, 80% proficiency to 30 to 40%. And so rightly so, people push back, but we still have the residue of that. We're still dealing with that in 2026. So.
Just as a parent, if you want your teachers and the administrators to know what kind of help your child needs in different areas in math and ELA, science, social, whatever it is, have them take the test, because that's the surefire way to know where they're struggling and what areas they need support in. And if they're not taking the test and your child's struggling, it's very difficult. Then it'll be more difficult. It makes it more challenging to diagnose the areas of need and where the deficits are. Where are those gaps? Taking the test in a very specific situation where it's a time test or where it's a very serious test like this helps teachers and administrators be able to do that. So it's really important that parents understand, refusing to take the test is not helping your child at all. Period. Full stop. It's not helpful.
Thank you. We're good with this slide?
Okay, so moving forward, we are trying to create a space that fosters positive engagement for everyone, empowerment for everyone, and a sense of belonging for everyone every day. And that's just not for our students, that's for our adults, that's for any staff member, any community member. That is our goal. And we talked a little bit about alignment earlier. We have experienced success partnering with Curriculum Associates, and we have purchased the Magnetic Reading Program for grades 3 to 5. That was 2 years ago. We're entering our third year. Next year will be our third year with the Magnetic Reading Program, and we said we have seen success, and that success is being evidenced on our iReady assessments. It's being evidenced in the classroom, how kids are approaching reading comprehension. So we are looking that the board would support us in now extending that program K to 2 for kindergarten, grades 1 and grades 2 for $150,000. And here's really the reason why we need to do this. We have not had since, and I was trying to look back, so my number is either 2002 or 2006. That was the last time Grand Island had a common literacy program, grades K to 5 at least. So it's been a long time. And we talk about alignment between, and I know, Joy, you had mentioned with math alignment between youth and Pegabyne. And so we need to align. We're not broken, but we need to speak a common language when it comes to K, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. And because the iReady assessment is a Curriculum Associates product, we've experienced success now with the Magnetic Reading Program, which is Curriculum Associates as well, and that's in grades 3, 4, and 5. We want to bring that down to a K, 1, 2 level and purchase this product for $150,000. So that's our ask from the curriculum department, and it's going to align us. It's not without, we're going to have to, dig in and work very hard, just like we had to do with any program, but want to be consistent, we want to be clear, and have that common language. Now K 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. So, you know, I'm really excited about this. If we can make that happen, that would be fantastic for us as a district. Any
I have a
questions?
question.
Yes.
Just real quick, so, what literacy program are we using right now, K through 2? And when would we have implemented that into the district?
We have been using, I would say it's a portfolio of different programs from, well, UFly has been the common program for phonics, but we have Ready Reading in grades 2. I'm drawing a blank on the other 2 programs that we have working right now. But we're piecing things together that sometimes the language doesn't always talk to each other.
I want to know the programs that we're currently using at Sidway, and 1 and 2, and when they were brought into the district, and what the cost of those were.
Sure, no problem.
That's what I'm looking for.
You got it.
I understand and I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I like that, but I just want to know the timing of when we brought in the other systems that we're currently using.
Okay. I can have that for you.
I'll just add, Sue, that in this district, we were a readers and writers workshop district with the Lucy Calkins program. And most recently, there's been pushback by New York State to adopt science of reading approach at the younger grade levels. So that's, as John gets that information for you, that for our board and our community to understand that we are pivoting away from readers and writers workshop and then adding a science of reading component to literacy, early literacy, and literacy growth in the primary school grades, which we are getting good feedback with UFly and some of those other elements, but it's definitely a shift.
Yeah, we're going to keep UFly as a foundation program for phonics, partly because we're experiencing a lot of success with it, and it is free. So we've been using that for at least, I don't know, I would say like,
I think when
4 years,
Mr. Antonelli joined us, he brought that in.
Yeah. So that covers the phonics piece, but we definitely need something for second grade in terms of phonics. Right now, we're using
Hughes and Kettawine are using the same literacy program now.
for grades 3 through 5, yes.
And that would be the same one that we're looking to put in K through 2?
Yes, it's just their extension of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. Are you done with yours?
Yes.
Okay. This is a good transition as we start to talk about the budget. We have some students who may need to leave just because they're drivers. So if we could take a break and our students can get their agendas signed for their participation in government class, then we can excuse them for the rest of the evening. So students can bring their agendas up to the board. Any board member can sign them for you so that we have a record of your attendance today.
It just went under far It's because that town hall is like very short.
Yes. We did both. Nice seeing you, honey. Hi, good night, have a good night.
You too.
Okay.
I get in the car, I don't need to.
No. You're fine.
I don't know, I don't think I did.
So as we had a couple of board members go use the facility, so we'll just continue with that break.
There goes the.
Shuts down automatically at 9 o'clock.
It's good to see you.
I heard it click again.
Check. I got my eyes on you, Dr. Palage.
Today, I'll be back in and see so Sam doesn't work, obviously.
Yes.
We just got
Let's do it. You want to? Yes, I do. Yes. Yes. So they did a playground and auctions off. I painted one of those chairs. That was awesome.
So as long as the insurance covers,
I'm doing our bank. Really appreciate it.
oh, I actually think I heard, what did you say? Not heard. Oh, I'm really glad that's what I heard. I thought I heard something else actually. So.
All right. We want to thank everybody for the endurance of a longer meeting. We appreciate that. Just as we start to transition to the budget program, and it's okay, right, with our board to move forward, to continue? All right, thank you. So we're starting off with this slide, and it's slide 36 of 87, Doug Wayland. So we do have a lot of slides tonight. But to that end, this is important information for the board to see that we have worked with our GITA. There are 12 GITA retirements listed here on the far left of this slide. You can see those positions. In the center, you'll see that we intend to replace 7 of those positions and transition 1 position to the SRP team. So along with those replacements, we are asking in this budget development for the board to approve an increase, a 0.4 FTE increase in art, and those numbers are supported by course requests by our high school students and some exciting new courses that they've developed. But you'll see that we're intending, even though we have 2 social studies teachers retiring, we intend to replace 1 of them. We intend to replace English, science, our psychologist. We intend to replace grade 6, English 7th. The Sidway classroom aide was previously a teaching assistant, but we can use a teacher aide in a UPK class to fulfill that need. And then you'll see under Kegovine replacing the elementary music position. As it goes without saying that we love our teachers and staff, that we're replacing some, but also subtracting through attrition as a result of either retirements or people who have left mid-year. So you'll see in the far right the total reduced and proposed abolished positions. So we're reducing social studies and math, a business position, that person left mid-year, foreign language position, which is being abolished due to course enrollments, and then at Kegavine reducing 2 elementary positions. At Sidway, that teaching assistant's going to become a teacher aide, that position will become that. So you can see that we're replacing and we're subtracting through attrition, and that's really why the board and the GITA built a retirement incentive, which helps us control costs. Does anybody have any questions about that plan?
It would be interesting to see the abolished positions, how much in revenue that's going to come back to the district. Since, we are eliminating only 12 retirements, you're hiring 7. So we have now some extra revenue. So that
Absolutely.
will go back to the district. It would be nice to kind of see that dollar amount.
Yeah.
Just because it'll be reinvested elsewhere.
Yeah, sure. Doug, will you be able to help us with that?
Oh, sure.
Excellent.
Next meeting, I can do that.
Great.
Thank you, no problem.
Very good. And as we continue, you've seen these slides before. It really isn't super important to reiterate all of the bullets, but Doug and his team have put this together based on the draft budget by the governor, and you can see that in this slide there are increases in different areas of the governor's intended budget, and of course we will wait with bated breath to see if there's any changes by April 1st or a little bit beyond that date.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you can just help, I can't see which, there's not a lot of color in these slides, so I can't tell which page you're on.
You got it, yep. We're at page 39, if that helps.
John, we're very colorful.
And that is true. And Doug, I know, we have a lot, sorry? Oh, I know we have a lot of slides. Do you have any questions for the board before we continue?
No, what I'd like to do, you gave us a directive to go through this budget with a fine-tooth comb as much as we could and reduce it and come up with a budget. I'm sorry. And so you gave us a directive to take a look at this budget, go through it with a fine-tooth comb as much as we could for the second draft, and come back with a budget that's reduced, and we've done that. And there are 4 important slides, maybe 5. The other information you've already seen before. There may be 1 or 2, like on reserves or other things, that I'd be glad to go over with you. But for us to focus on what you're looking for in this budget, I'd like to go over 4 important slides and have that as the backdrop for a discussion. And then if there's other information that you've looked at in these 40 slides, most of which you've seen before, there are a couple of new ones in there that were in this presentation that were not in the other presentation just by design. But if you look at page 72,
Thank you.
in terms of positions that are left in this budget from all of the requests, the box at the bottom, there is a .4 FTE public relations position added. We've already mentioned the .4 art. You asked last time that the 2 breakfast monitors remain in the budget. We talked about the literacy program. It is actually K2. I have K2 and 3, so that's my mistake there. And we've left the portable air conditioners. When you look at the sheets that have the X's on them, most of what was on the left column has been moved to the right column. So most has been taken out of this budget. And these are the only things that are left in. Now, the important sheets that I wanted to go over.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So on the portable AC units, is that something we could use as a capital outlay? And did the capital outlay, and let me just finish my thought, did that go from 100,000 to 250,000? And I'm asking the question because I see the ask is just for the high school, and if it was something we could do for the capital outlay project, we could maybe add some of our elementary and primary buildings and get more AC units if that was something that could be used as a capital outlay.
Well, number one, the capital outlay, as far as I know, is still at $100,000. It's been proposed to go up to $250,000, but that's not been enacted. We may see it in the legislative budget, which is not adopted yet, so that's number one. Number two, I will check this, but you need to do renovations to the building.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was thinking if it was 250, maybe we could get them all.
Right. These probably could be incorporated in. I would have to check that. They're portable units. So can you put that in a capital outlay project? I would have to check that. I think they can be part of it, but I think the majority of a capital outlay has to be in capital expense to renovating your building.
Gotcha.
But I'll get an answer for you. If we could go to page 40. Page 40 includes the revenues in this budget. Now, just as an overview, our last budget was an increase of 5.5%. This proposed budget is an increase of 3.1%. So we've reduced 1.8 million out of the budget. It still may be too high. This is what we're looking for in terms of direction. The revenue side of the budget, when you look at page 40, you can see that the tax impact is 2.7. So that's the levy that's being raised with this budget. The actual total budget is $81,835,605. It was $83,660, so it's been reduced by 1.8 million.
Remind us what our allowable is it
3.32
And Doug,
is the max.
at our first budget presentation, that was the number we had in, right? 3.32?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're showing the board 2.7.
2.7.
Thank you, Brian. That's where I was going.
So if for example, you wanted a levy, a tax increase of 2.5, it's only $84,000, reducing the impact. So you would go from this $42,976,000 to $42,892,000. And if you wanted to go to 2.3, it's just double that, 167,000. So you would go to 42,808 to give you perspective. When you look at page 42, are the expenses that fit this revenue budget. So you have your revenue and expenses, they both balance at $81,835,605. The projected budget numbers, of course, have changed since the last budget first draft, because there's a reduction of 1.8 million. This budget, see, there's two things we're talking about. The levy is how much taxes you're going to raise, so that's 2.7. But if someone were to ask you, what's the increase in the budget to budget, that's 3.1. It's two different questions. So last time the budget was an increase of 5.5. Now it's an increase of 3.1. Last time we had a levy of only 2%. But then we had a health insurance meeting and found out that that was rising. There's a few other costs that are rising. We just filled up our diesel fuel tanks today at $4.13 a gallon. Last time we filled up, it was $3.02 a gallon, so that's up 38%. So there's things in your budget that we need to, you want to protect the fund balance. I've got to be careful about some of these increases. So when we take a look at how much taxes to raise and how much this budget should increase, those are factors we have to consider.
Does this page 42 include that this we just went over on page 72 or whatever it was?
The stuff on the things on page 72 are in this budget.
It is.
Yes, the monitors.
On page 42. Okay.
Oh. Say your question again. Is in 42?
That list we just looked at prior to this slide on page 42, are those asks or wants included on this page?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So you have your monitors, you have your 2.4 FTE positions, you have the air conditioners.
Okay, thank you.
Page 81 is your budget recap. So page 81 shows the budget at $81,835,605. Your top set of numbers are revenue numbers. Then when you go 39 million, 21 million, 20 million, that's your expenditure numbers. That's your 81 million. To support the 81 million, you have 38 million on the top of revenue. You have your tax levy, which is near the bottom, 42,976,000. And you're using some of your own money, which is your appropriation, 5.5. So the three revenue numbers equal the expense numbers. And the levy, that 42,976,000, is your 2.7% from year to year, levy to levy. The number on the bottom, which says maximum, levy maximum, that's your 3.32. That's as high as you can go on the levy. But that summarizes this budget. It's 2.7% increase in taxes. It's 3.1% budget to budget increase. Now page 85. This is the estimated tax sheet. The percent change, it's going from $11.94 to $12.26. That's 32 cents a thousand, or 2.68, very close to 2.7. If your value of your house is estimated at $397,000, your tax bill would be $4,867. If you have STAR, you reduce your assessment by $33,140. Your tax bill is $4,461. Now, let's say we don't like 2.68 in tax levy. We want 2.5 increase in tax levy. Then your tax rate wouldn't be 1226, it would be 1224. If you wanted 2.3% increase in taxes, your tax levy would be 1221. So there's slight changes.
Why is that?
Well, see.
I don't understand the last couple things you just said.
Okay. You're raising taxes on the budget. How much do we want to raise taxes? And right now, we're raising them 2.7%. And when you do that, your tax rate is $12.26 per thousand. So the 2.7, your tax rate right now is $11.94 per thousand. If you raise that by 2.7%, your tax rate would be $12.26 per thousand. Let's say as a board, you say to administration, we don't want to raise taxes 2.7%. We want to raise taxes 2.5%. Then what would be?
What's the financial dollar, 2.5 and 2.7? Maybe she needs to understand what that dollar amount is being split between all of the residents. Go back, you told us what the difference in the revenue would be between 2.7 and 2.5. Didn't you say it was like 84,000 or something? What was that number?
Just a second. So if you go back to page 40, which are the revenues. The top line of that page, your estimated budget levy for 26-27 is $42,976,370. That is a 2.7% increase in the tax levy. If you said that's too high, we want to go to 2.5, it would be 42,892,000, it's not up there, I just have it here, 892,677. So it's almost $84,000 difference.
That's why you see such a small change in the per thousand. Is that Danielle asking the question? You're divvying up $84,000 amongst all of the residents.
That's a good way. Thank you, Sue, for rephrasing.
Sorry, I just wanted to dumb it down a little bit. Just go back to that number. That's why it's so small. It's only 2 cents per thousand.
Right, so that small difference would be an $84,000 difference to the school budget.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Raising and right.
And then you also gave the example of 2.33, right?
2.3.
What would be the difference to the school on 2.3?
160.
So that would, no, go ahead, Doug.
It'd be $167,386. It's twice the 83 or twice the 84.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to get you to where you want to be. And at this point, these critical pages actually define your budget. How much do you want to raise in taxes? I heard 2.7%, so that's how this is prepared. But if you say 2.7 is too much, you want to try something different, we can do that. My goal as your business official is to try to have this budget together by your next meeting, because that's the target date that we can approve it. We don't have to approve it then, we can go, to the next meeting. But last year, you approved it at the next meeting, so.
Doug, I do have another question. It's on page 77 under operations. There's 2 items listed under operations. One is that VersaTrans versus Transversa.
Yes.
And the bus, so that has got the X's that it's going to happen this year and hit our regular budget.
Yes.
One item, So that's not represented in your addition that we looked on, was it page 72? I can't remember.
You're right.
So I don't know if that's included in page 42, that's gonna change our numbers. And I would say after looking at that sheet you provided us, I don't know if it's a $26,000 value to change at this time. That's just my opinion after reading it. But those numbers are not reflected. So if that's the case, you know, we're looking at 52.5. That's gonna be a percent. You know, that's gonna be, you know, we need to take a look at that.
All right, you are.
It's not included.
Yeah, you are correct. You are correct. Both of those items
So
are still in the
62,
budget.
right, so we're not at our 2.7. Because those were missed.
Well, were they missed or they were just missed in the list?
Yeah, that we need to
Right.
determine that.
Are the numbers in there?
I think they're still in the budget.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
We need to know that, but I would say after reading that, I'm not 100% sold that we need an upgrade to the software at this time. I know it's a segue to being able to have information in the cloud, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's two things there.
The recap wasn't very convincing, for me anyways.
Yeah, we were trying to get a little bit different cameras, and then we were trying to put.
The cameras is a separate item.
Okay, I understand that.
That's just my opinion. I mean, there's, you know, 1 of 7, but I don't think it's a need. I think it's a want at this point. It doesn't give us the live, being able to see instantaneous, the video, which was what everybody was excited about.
Right, I misspoke on that.
Yeah, I don't mean, you know, I didn't mean it that way, but I don't know, it's $26,000, and I don't know, do we wait till it's exactly what we want? I don't know, it sounds like a patch, sounds like a lot, not even for, I don't know, well spread through it in depth, but that's just my opinion.
Okay.
But we do definitely need to know if that's in that number, because it's gonna change what we're looking at.
do the two go hand in hand with the updates of the cameras as well, or?
Well, there's two numbers, the cameras
Right.
and that software package, and I believe they're still in the budget. But they're not, I didn't put them on that list.
Is the increase in curriculum funding for math, science, and social studies, your presentation, Mr. Fitzpatrick, the $150,000?
That's for K-1, 2,
Okay, so that line to be determined can be, you know, it's anticipated $150,000 increase?
That's in the budget.
Okay.
And we have the enrollment for the art classes, we know we're gonna have the enrollment for the art.
Yes, yes, Sue, good question, and absolutely, excuse me for my voice, I haven't spoken in a couple of minutes. Thank you, Doug. But Hillary has assured us that the course requests and are very, there's enough enrollment to support the ask.
How many students will be enrolled in these classes? How many students?
Yep, we can get you that.
Just curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we don't want 7 kids in a class, so but Hillary will get us that information.
And I will get you the information on the, what's called the breakage between the people that are retiring and the replacement cost. So these are the places where if you're gonna go down, you know, 2.7 is too high, 2.5 is too high. Doug, you've gotta get this down. This is the money I'll be taking out.
Yeah, we're going to negotiations too, we're in contract negotiations and everything, right? And it's all part of it, so.
Yeah, I just want you to be very careful because you know, the CPI is probably almost 2.8, 2.7, 2.8. There's things in this budget that are rising higher than that. You have to judge what your community is telling you about your budget, because we certainly want the budget to pass. We want the community to believe we've done all we can to get it at the right level. So,
They tell us it's too high.
okay, so what?
I just wanna make sure that our asks are needs and not wants. I mean, that's the biggest thing we can control, right? So that's what I'm looking at. For me, it's our list of wants. And that's what I'm weighing on for this next budget, is the continual addition and whether we definitely need it at this time.
I mean, medical insurance went up $1.5 million.
No, I mean,
In
that,
1
we
year.
see that.
Yeah.
She's looking at, I mean, insurances and utilities, I mean, obviously,
Right.
those, you know, that's a given.
Right.
Those are gonna go up. You know, I see what Sue was saying, you know, the bus routing program, it currently works.
Yes, it
and
currently
every
works.
day.
Yeah.
The internal bus camera and recording software at this time, because the public is so conscious
Mhm.
on what they're spending,
Mhm.
they come out and they're not happy. I understand what Sue was saying, because these may, if they're already functioning in these systems and these programs that we already have, the main question we're gonna be asking, why did you upgrade? It was already working, you know, I'm on the app every day. And these are questions that legitimate, you know, people are going to ask, legitimate questions people are gonna ask us. So I see why, you know, Sue was asking this, because unless these programs, this bus routing system stops working, or the internal bus camera system that we currently have is no longer functional,
Mhm.
at this point in time, because the public is pretty outspoken right now, we have to take these wants
Okay.
and move them.
That's excellent conversation. I know, Doug, you'll confer with Teresa Lizade to better understand, you know, the elements of this. For the next budget presentation, this is a question for our board. Right now, we're presenting at 2.7 tax levy. Would you like to see an iteration at the next budget presentation at 2.5 or 2.4? We're just looking for some guidance.
For me, no. For me, I think it's more important to make sure we're not putting anything in there that is not a need, right? For me, I understand what 2.7 looks like, 2.5 looks like. I mean, we need to be looking at these costs that we're looking to add. The request inclusions is what we need to be looking at.
Yeah,
I mean, really, that's all we can, I don't wanna say control, but that's really what we need to be looking at, right? And how we can make sure we're adding only what is absolutely essential at this time.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that we've basically kept any additions to an absolute minimum. We don't have any control over diesel fuel, healthcare, things of that nature. If Teresa can confirm that the software and this upgraded cameras is not absolutely necessary at this time, I think probably that could be something great to look at. At 62,500, that could be, you know, 10th or so percent we're looking for, right? I mean, that could get us to 2.6 right there just by that.
I
That's just
agree,
a
it's
thought.
easy to justify to the public the rising cost of health insurance and utilities, you know, because everybody, you know, is experiencing that. It's hard to justify to the public programs that we already have in place to upgrade and other items. So to show the money that we're saving with not hiring, you know, anything that we can show them that we're doing the best we can to scale this down is really what we're gonna have to get out. It is a message to the public, like, your budget, it is going up, and it's going up by this percentage, but it's because of health insurance, it's because of utilities, it's because of, you know, various salaries, whatever it may be. It's inevitable, you know, that this is why, but it's not because we're adding, you know, X, Y, Z, which maybe we can give them.
I mean, we are reducing our most important asset, right? That's our people.
Yep.
So I think that's a great idea, Joy, to share that number with the public, to show them that, look at this is, you know.
So with the instructional total, or at least the elementary, and, the to be determined here, those are already exacted amounts to come to the 1,000,009?
Those are out. So those are moved over. The 1.9 is in the right, the 1.8 million should be in the one right-hand column.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it is. I guess if
So there should only be X's for 26, 27. But there should only be a few X's there.
oh, well, we are, that's my answer. Oh, she's, we already asked him, that's why I'm asking for us. Well, these are.
And for the next presentation, I was just going to remove those numbers, the 1.8 million, because if you don't want to add anything in, which we're not going to, right? They're not relevant. Just the ones where the X's are on the.
Okay. I think it just confused me because we heard a presentation where, one of these items is accounted for, and then, you know, so Joyce helped me, but, I guess the only thing I would add, I agree with what my fellow board members have said so far, but the only thing I would add is if there was a reduction to the increase, say, to 2.6, 2.5, or 2.3, what that actually would look like. What could you tell us? What would be the cuts from those apps, you know? And that's all I got.
Well, they're going to start with those two transportation pieces that are here. They'll probably take a look at the reductions of the people that are retiring versus the people we're hiring. And there's money there.
Maybe that also we should alert the public to would be what the original percentage was and what we are now going to, so they can see that we have cut this down. So, yeah, I mean, because then they can see, oh, this was initially in the first presentation, but the district got us down to here. And I think if the public can see that we are working to get that number lower, and how we started, you know, at 4 or whatever, now we're down to the 2s. I think that will help. And when we roll out this to the public, to say, this is what it started at, but this is what we ended at. And that may help assist with any type of backlash in regards to the cost.
Yeah, I like that.
And just what Danielle was saying, there might not necessarily be cuts, we will just be taking more money out of our fund balance. Right, Doug? We
Well,
don't necessarily will cut that.
That's what you got to be careful to protect.
Correct, yes.
Because in the future, if that gets too low, you will be increasing taxes just to make up that gap.
Right.
And, you know, a couple of years ago, you were at the $7 million number, which to me is way too high. This year, you're at 6.6. I have it at, I think, 5.3 or something like that. I'm trying to reduce that.
Right.
You just have to
I
be
was just
careful,
trying- I was just
because
trying to explain
that's
it
the
may not-
money.
May not necessarily mean a cut, it may just mean a little bit more money out of our reserves, right? So,
Well, it's actually the money that's left over at the end of the year. Remember, you could keep 4% of it. We had 600,000, more than the 4%.
right,
But if you don't, and you don't have to keep 4%, 4% is the maximum. So if you only ended with 2%, that's all you'd have. But you've got to be very careful, because you have to control your expenses so that they don't outpace your revenue.
right. Right.
Is there a requirement of a certain dollar amount we have to keep in reserves?
Yep, that's 4%. Yeah.
4%, right?
Yeah.
It's the mix.
Doug, Joy had an important question. This is slide 81. She was asking about the difference between 3.32 and 2.7. And I think you have it here, at least in one area, right? If we were to have the maximum tax levy be 3.32, we would be collecting that 43,235,000. But at
Yes.
2.7, it's 42,976.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think what you show the public is that the 3.32, your taxes would go up X amount of dollars versus 2.2, whatever, your taxes are gonna go up there. So the average person is gonna look at that and not understand that. But they're gonna know when they look at their tax bill,
Mhm.
their school tax bill, hey, my tax bill went up $11 versus $15.
Right.
So that, I think, if you could just break it down dollar-wise, so people look at their, they can see that versus when they're looking at their tax bill.
Can I ask a quick point of clarification? Speaking of someone who hasn't used their voice all night. This is minor, but on page 72, where we're talking about the current year request updates, and you have the portable AC units for the high school, it's 69.2. But then in the
I know, it's different.
yeah, I mean, it's significantly different. Is there a reason for that?
It's a mistake.
Oh,
on my
okay.
part.
Because it's 25.5 on the more
Isn't it
template.
It's 69.2, but then there's another page.
It says 25.5.
No, I can't.
It's on, I'm sorry, page 75, listed at 25.5.
No, you're right. They're actually $850 each,
So it's 25.
So it's 25.5.
where it just says 25.
Beth, I think you just saved us some money. Well done. Yeah, thank you.
How did we come up with the dollar, or the amount of 30?
You want to what?
30 portable condition,
Correct,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm guessing it's the number of classrooms on the second floor, Hillary?
There's a combination of factors. I did order some this year to help offset that total number. And then we still have some units, so that would be getting us closer to being able to have one in every classroom.
Doug, I think you masterfully had us just look at some key slides. Is there anything?
Those are the important ones,
Yeah.
and that's where the decisions are going to be made.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to highlight tonight, or any other questions that the board has? Joy, you good? Well, good, that's right. Sue, do you have any additional questions, or would you like to see us talk about any more slides?
No, Doug, I really appreciate the way you broke it down and the way you presented it to us. I think you hit exactly what we were looking for and what we are finding most important in this budget. The only thing I really want to make sure is that we have that number of our budget requests correct, right? For the next one, so we know exactly what we're increasing. That's it, but otherwise, I have nothing.
Good. Jake, anything? Good?
Everybody good?
Ashley?
Okay.
Danielle, you're good?
Oh, I'm good, and I just add, I thank you for the way you presented tonight and the transparency, and even, admitting to a mistake. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's hard. It's a lot, and it's not the final, so working down.
And Doug, just as we wind this down, this slide, the proposition 2 is staying the same, no changes.
No changes.
Yeah, please.
Are we gonna we're talking about proposition 2?
Yes.
So proposition 2, the only question I have is the 2 4x4s. I know that they age out.
Mhm. They get beat up pretty good.
Yeah, so is it, again, it's trying to conserve some money.
Right.
Is it absolutely necessary that we need 2 this year, or can we get 1 and then get 1 next year and save a little bit of money?
So Doug,
I know
you'll
the condition of
work with Phil to see if this can be reduced.
When I talked to him initially, it was the replacement policy that the district has been using, so, but yeah, you can do
Because we're
that.
scaling back.
Mhm.
That's, if we can, that would be nice to show the district that, 2 were presented and maybe we can table 1 for next year and push.
Okay.
So in the event that we do that, I would like to know, what is going to be on the proposition 2 for next year. So if we do take 1 off this year, are we looking at 3 for next year? Are we looking at 2? I want to make sure we're not lumping this proposition to look bigger next year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, for sure. And a nice segue to that is tomorrow the Erie Niagara School Superintendent's Association is sponsoring a electric grid seminar for superintendents across the Western New York region, for superintendents to better understand electric grid capacity in the event that districts are required to add zero emission buses. So this is a very important question, because by 2027, districts, the first purchase of a bus is supposed to be zero emission, which triples the cost of a school bus. And Doug and Teresa have been working to get secure a waiver,
2 years.
a 2-year waiver that would kick the can a little bit down the road, so that the Assembly and Senate can really, make an informed decision about this mandate. So and I did speak to Jeremy Zellner about this, as well as my colleagues as a new senator. So, but it's a very good question about Proposition 2.
And that study that was done by Wendell that we paid for,
Yeah.
Wendell Engineering, I believe it says we have to do $7 million worth of infrastructure to support the electric buses before we buy the buses.
Yeah. And so we're using that as evidence that they should allow us to have a waiver. So as far as these slides, Jay, or the board, is there anything else you would like us to highlight today? All right, Doug, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug. Okay, looks like we're on to you, Cheryl, for special education PPS. Motion.
So I have CSD and CPSD program recommendations, please, for action.
And we have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
We're on to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, thank you. Only 34 slides, everybody. But no, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but there is always things to celebrate. The community can look at the slides. I know the board has already reviewed the slides. Sienna did a great job in highlighting our DECA students and their competition. I just want to let the board know that on Sunday, Brett Baker and I attended the Niagara Police Athletic League Awards Assembly, and not only were our for Female Athlete of the Year, recognized Rebecca Dolan and John Neville as Male Athlete, but our Unified Athlete of the Year. And I got a chance to sit with him and his family, and they were absolutely thrilled to be part of that. So we thank everybody. You know the great success that our boys varsity basketball team. I want to thank Allie Lipinsick for these beautiful pictures, some black and white and some color. She does an amazing job. And we're just so excited that we're A1 and A2 champions, not since 1992, so it's a really big deal. And we encourage everybody to join us at Buffalo State University at 6 p.m. This Wednesday to cheer on the Vikings. Sienna did talk to us already about the senior clash of the Vikings winning. Good job, seniors. Nicely done. And I do want to make mention and shine a spotlight on Teresa Leads-a-Day and Allie Lipinsick. Allie, as you know, is our community relations specialist. She worked very closely with Teresa Leads-a-Day. We now have a website, ladies and gentlemen, for individuals who are interested in becoming bus drivers. When they go to see Teresa and her team, they're given the permit book for the CDL licensing. And it's a dense book. I would say it's not super engaging. And what we've done on this website is if anybody in the community wanted to be a bus driver, they would not only get the booklet, but they would get a password to the site. This is password protected. And what we've done is we've broken down the book, and we are now providing the community who's interested in getting this certification, we're giving them study materials for each section. They include audio and video slideshows that are narrated. They also include study guides. So at some point we may take some time at a future meeting to show the board this, just maybe a 5-minute presentation in the future, but I think you'll be very impressed with what our team have accomplished. Rebecca Dolan, besides getting recognized by the Police Athletic League, she was featured in an article in the Niagara Gazette about how she manages her diabetes as an athlete, and she truly is a role model for everybody in the community. Here, Danielle, you must be very excited about her mock trial team. They got pretty far this year.
Truly, they did. It was the best trial tournament I think I've seen throughout the history. And I don't agree with the loss. I think
I love it.
the ruling was, it wasn't fair, but that's also a good lesson. That's what I said to them, especially with judges. There is
Nice.
an arbitrary
True.
component to it.
Right.
And it's a good test of what life is like as a lawyer. And, but they did such a wonderful job. I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
Like, I was in awe. They were that good.
That is really great testament to our team and Mark Wales and your support of them, so thank you for that. Sienna did talk about our Spirit Days, so I'll slide past some of these pictures. They're really great. And of course, again, our basketball team has done tremendously well. So wonderful job there. Youth Road students and their select choir performed at the University of Buffalo. So we're very, very proud of them singing the national anthem in front of thousands of people in the arena. John Fitzpatrick. John needs a little dental and health care, but we're very proud of his performance in the Olympics. And as you know, we're doing book talks in our podcast. They're just adorable, and we thank our teachers for that. The board, I'm sure, is very interested. We have collected 141 paper surveys from the community returned. I want to thank Jude, I want to thank Allie, going to the town, going to our schools, going to the library to collect these paper surveys, and 205 digital surveys. At the next board meeting, we can dig in deep and look at the analysis of that and have a conversation about the future. And additionally, I think it's important for the community to understand and the board that the law has changed for all school districts in the state to enact Chapter 77 of the laws for 2026 and mandatory. It's a mandatory 100% service-connected disability veterans exemption. So I just think that's very important. It's not a choice by the school board. It is something we all have to do. And it's a great way to honor our veterans who are 100% disabled. Any questions from the board about this law and that we need to enact it? All right. It won't go into effect this year, and the veterans need to apply for it, but it would impact us in the next school year, 26, 27, 28, I think, right? Yeah.
It's 27, 28.
Yeah. Very good. So I just wanted to make sure we were aware of that. Any other questions about that? We just were informed that the Knights of Columbus has given us a bump. They bumped us out of their facility for this event. I stopped by Occasions by Asteria today. They can service us. They're going to send us some information. So we may be just changing the location and not the date. But we were a little disappointed to get that phone call today. And that's about it. You know, we continue to support and ask people to apply to be bus drivers, and of course, we always talk about the Viking tip line. So that's all that I've got for you today, unless you have any questions.
Very good. Great, thanks, Dr. Graham. On the Board of Education report, Sue, looks like you have a GISBA report. Anything to say about it?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. And Beth, looks like you're pretty busy. You've got a few in there. Do you have anything you want to mention about those?
Just a couple of brief updates for the middle school PTA meeting. Just wanted to note that throughout some various fundraisers this year, the PTA is now able to purchase several items for use in the courtyard during lunch with students. And the students were able to vote on those items, and they requested cornhole and like a Velcro toss and catch game and some suction darts. So it's kind of cool to see how that money is being put to use. They're also currently in the midst of a popcorn fundraiser, which is where you can order online and it ships directly to you. So there's information about that on Facebook. The Kagamine PTA has a Rainbow Roller Rink fundraiser coming up on March 25th from 5 o'clock till 7:30. And with funding from the PTA, Kagamine will be able to purchase a book vending machine similar to what Sidway has. So when I told my second grader that, her first question was, how do I get coins? So she was excited already. And then lastly, with the ECASB meeting, I have one agenda attached to the other. It's just the budget that was adopted. That was part of that meeting. We also reviewed the draft calendar for 26, 27. And just to note that ECASB continues to seek sponsorships for next year. That's a large part of how they keep their dues kept low and steady from year to year. So more information about that could come from Dave Lowry. If you know someone, they are always looking for warm introductions to contacts to reach out. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, that leads us to public comment session. General items not included this agenda. We did have 2 people sign up. I just need to read this little statement before we call you guys up. At this time, public comments are invited from those individuals who desire to address the Board of Education on any topic which is not on the agenda. Residents who have previously signed up to speak will be recognized by the president. When speaking, please identify yourself first. Speak clearly and loudly enough for everyone in the room to hear you. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes, to appoint a spokesperson if a concern is a group concern, and if necessary or desired, to supplement verbal presentations with written reports. Personal comments toward a member of the community, staff, or a Board of Education will not be considered appropriate. Okay, so at this time we have Wayne M. West regarding traffic safety.
Good evening. I really want to applaud you guys for everything that you've said and done tonight. You actually made my talk a little bit easier. One of the reasons for failure is not asking the right questions. And you guys kind of keep that one, so I don't have to go into that. So, yes. We have, in front of Kagamine, one of the most dangerous pieces of road on Grand Island outside of Brooklyn. You know about student death. You may know about an officer in pursuit of his duties causing additional accidents. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I just realized this marks my 50th year since I started doing traffic safety, so I know what I'm talking about, probably a little bit more than some of the people at the state. In the military, we have something that we call unity of command, which means that you only have one boss. That street is not owned by the school system, so you guys don't have direct input, but you are one of the primary customers for the state park system, who I believe owns the road. We have a couple of issues there, and one of the things I proposed a solution about a year ago that we put, how many people here like those roundabouts? That's what I thought, okay? How many people hate them? All right, well, I'm gonna tell you with a fire hose kind of a quick thing about why there needs to be a roundabout at Love and a roundabout at Broadway. So, I'm gonna give you the Reader's Digest version from the internet, and I'm gonna tell you what it really means. The internet says roundabouts are safer, more efficient intersections that reduce fatal injury crashes by up to 90 and 80% respectively, by calming traffic speeds, eliminating left turns against oncoming traffic, and reducing conflict points. They improve flow, reduce delays by 30 to 50%, and lower fuel consumptions and therefore emissions, while providing lower long-term maintenance costs. So, if I ask you, how many different ways do you think you could get into an accident in a standard intersection? Anybody want to take a guess?
Wait, hold on, Wayne, I just gotta, can you just stop that for a second? I love your presentation, you're very articulate, but you're just addressing the board tonight.
I understand.
Okay, it just seemed like you were trying to address the audience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much. I just wanna make sure that that's the protocol, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Not a
And then we
problem.
can start the timer again, thank you.
Okay. So if I were to ask you how many different ways you can get in an accident in a standard four-way intersection, what do you think that number would be? That number is 32. You've got an 8-lane highway going past Kagavine. 4 of those, say again?
30 seconds, sir. You have 3 minutes.
And I'm at 30 seconds?
Yes.
30 seconds left.
Left, okay.
Yes, sir.
It reduces 32 points down to 8. The numbers of things that we're talking about in terms of the cost and everything else, it reduces the cost, it reduces the types of accidents that you can get into, like head-ons or the T-bone. I'm gonna be sending you guys something to consider later so that you can dig into this. But really what I'm looking for at some point is going to be the board's support to go back to the state and say, hey, this is what we need to do, why we need to do it. And basically, it's by saving more lives and yet still saving costs. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a Bonnie Rogers. Is Bonnie here still?
I think she signed that.
Or did she maybe sign on accident?
Correct.
Yes, because there's no time. That topic. So, okay, so we are good on that. Okay, so that's committee of the whole items for the roundtable. Ash, Dr. Dreyer?
I'm all set, thank you. Just a thank you to Dr. Whalen and Cheryl and John for your presentations tonight and continued effort. This is my first time sitting through this. It's a lot of information and I appreciate your hard work.
Jude?
I just want to say that I was one of the judges for the checkout. It was Sienna and Dr. Graham, and what a great experience. It was awesome. 3,100 kids all over New York State, and I felt like I was on Shark Tank. It was great. Speaking of time, they had time the kids in 10 minutes, and then they had everyone. But it's a great experience, and I'm hoping to be invited back again next year. It was awesome.
All right, Joy?
I'm all set, thank you.
Danielle?
All set, thank you.
I'm all set.
I'm all set
Cheryl?
too.
All
Thank
set.
you.
Sienna, are you going to the game on Wednesday? To the basketball game?
Boys get basketball.
You can't go? All right, but just send good thoughts, manifest good thoughts.
I'll watch it. Watch it.
That's all. I'm all set, thank you.
Yeah, set, I'm all set. Okay, so there we did it. Look at that. Just short of is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? All right, we will adjourn at 10:07.
Thank you very much.
All in favor?